you.
What about you, John?
I'm still unable to start my video.
Okay, noted. Sorry, John, can you start that?
I will.
All right.
In Tangier, she takes a breath, lifts up her voice. In Lahore, La Paz, Kampala, though she's half the world away, something in me wants to say. Others how to. In Jaipur she gives her name. She lives without shame. In Manila, South Tambu, though we're different as can be, we're connected, she with me. We are one woman. Your courage keeps me strong. We are one woman. You sing, I sing along. We are one woman. Your dreams are mine, and we shall shine. We shall shine.
And one man he hears her voice, and one man he fights her fight. Day by day he lets go the old ways, one woman at a time.
Though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say. We are one woman. Your victory sings a song. We are one woman. You rise and I stand tall. We are one woman. Your world is mine, and we shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine.
Tu même endroit. I can hear you, Jerry, but I get nothing on the night.
In Kigali, she wakes up, she makes sad choice. In Hanoi, Natal, Ramallah, in Tangier, she takes a breath, lifts up her voice. In Lahore, La Paz, Kampala, though she's half a world away, Something in me wants to say,
We are one woman, you cry and I hear you.
we are one woman. You hurt and I hurt too.
We are one woman, your hopes are mine,
And we shall shine.
immortal, she speaks the truth.
She reaches out, then teaches others how to. In Jaipur, she gives her name.
She lives without shame in Manila, South Tambu.
Though we're different as can be, we're connected, she with me. We are one woman. Your courage keeps me strong. We are one woman. You sing, I sing along. We are one woman. Your dreams are mine, and we shall shine. We shall shine.
And one man he hears her voice, and one man he fights her fight. Day by day he lets go the old ways, one woman at a time.
Though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say, we are one woman. Your victory sings a song. We are one woman. You rise and I stand tall. The world is mine, and we shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine,
Good morning, everyone. Our event is about to start. May I please invite you to take your seats? Thank you. A very warm welcome to all of you to the Asia Pacific Regional Commemoration of International Women's Day 2024, celebrating under the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. I am Cindy Bishop, Regional UN-Women Goodwill Ambassador for Asia and the Pacific, and I will serve as the MC for the commemoration today. We are honored to have with us today distinguished ambassadors, representatives from ESCAP member states, UN colleagues, civil society organizations, as well as our youth ambassadors for a day. And it is my absolute pleasure and great honor to stand before you today as we unite for a cause that touches each and every single one of us, directly or indirectly. Today, not only do we gather in this esteemed assembly, but we also wish to extend a very warm and inclusive welcome to all of you tuning in from around the globe, watching us via live stream for this significant moment together. Excellencies, distinguished participants, as we navigate through ongoing global challenges, it is clearer than ever that the economic empowerment of women and girls, along with closing gaps in labor force participation, ensuring equitable access to economic resources, and alleviating the burden of unpaid care responsibilities all stand as pillars for achieving Sustainable Development Goal 5, and indeed, the broader vision of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The Asia-Pacific region has made notable progress in these areas, showcasing resilience and determination. Yet, as we stand at the crossroads of recent crises that have magnified the effects of long-standing discriminatory policies, as well as social and cultural barriers, we are reminded of the persisting challenges that significantly hamper the economic participation and the empowerment of women and girls, calling for our immediate and undivided attention. As we commemorate International Women's Day, let us cast a spotlight on these pressing challenges, underscoring the critical need for gender-responsive economic and social policies, together with the strengthening of public institutions and financing mechanisms to adequately address the rights and needs of each individual. It is time to reflect on the systemic barriers that persist and the actions required to surmount the discriminatory norms that stand in our way towards a more equitable and just future. Welcome to a day of reflection, of dialogue, and of action. Today we recommit to forging a path to the future marked by equality, justice, and boundless opportunity for all. Our regional commemoration will now commence with a message from Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, on the occasion of International Women's Day 2024.
On International Women's Day, we celebrate women and girls around the world, and we applaud all they have achieved in the fight for equality. Women and girls have made great gains, demolishing barriers, dismantling stereotypes, and driving progress towards a more just and equal world. Yet they face immense obstacles. Billions of women and girls face marginalization, injustice, and discrimination, while the persistent epidemic of violence against women disgraces humanity. Our world still reflects millennia of male-dominated power relations, and progress is under attack with a fierce backlash against women's rights. At our current rate, legal equality is some 300 years away. We must move much faster. On International Women's Day, we stand with women and girls fighting for their rights, and we commit to accelerating progress. This year's theme, Invest in Women, reminds us that ending the patriarchy requires money on the table. We must support women's organizations on the front line, and we must invest in programs to end violence against women and to drive women's inclusion and leadership in economies, digital technologies, peace building, and climate action. This all depends on unlocking finance for sustainable development so that countries have funds available to invest in women and girls. We also need to increase the number of women leaders in business, finance, central banks, and finance ministries. This can help drive investments in policies and programs that respond to women and girls' needs. Women's rights are a proven path to fair, peaceful, prosperous societies. It is good for us all. Together, let's take urgent action to make it a reality, and I thank you.
As we appreciate our Secretary General's unwavering commitment to advancing gender equality within the United Nations and beyond, it is now my honor to invite Ms. Lin Yang, Deputy Executive Secretary for Program, United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, to deliver her opening remarks. Please, Ms. Lin, the stage is yours.
Excellencies, distinguished participants, panelists, and young ambassadors, good morning. On behalf of ESCAP, and together with Sarah Nips, Deputy Regional Director of UN-Women, it's such great pleasure to welcome you to the Asia-Pacific Regional Commemoration of International Women's Day 2024. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to UN-Women for their partnership in co-organizing this commemoration, as well as to the Women Ambassadors Group and the United Nations family for organizing the Ambassador for a Day initiative. To start with, I have the honor to read the opening remarks on behalf of Ms. Amida Celsia Alicia Bana, Under Secretary General of the United Nations and the Executive Secretary of ESCAP. I quote, "This year's theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, serves as a compelling call to action. Indeed, today marks a beacon of hope and a testament to what we can achieve together for women's empowerment. Our collective efforts here today and every day are not just an investment in women and girls, but a foundation for progress, inclusive societies. The path we pave today leads to a brighter and more equitable future for all." The Asia-Pacific region has witnessed significant progress in empowering women and girls. We celebrate the increased presence of women in senior positions across both private and public sectors, and applaud the rising number of female entrepreneurs and women participating in the global economy. Such advancements are crucial milestones on our journey towards gender equality. However, our journey is met with the persistent challenges that underscore its complexity. Despite the global progress towards eradicating poverty, namely SDG 1, Goal 1, poverty persists as a significant challenge worldwide. As of 2019, almost 9% of the global population live on less than $1.9 per day, and the poverty disproportionately affects women. A significant factor contribute to this gender gap is the unjust burden of unpaid care and domestic work undertaken by women. In the region, women dedicate, on average, up to 11 hours per day to these tasks, over 4 times more than men. This imbalance significantly limits the type and the quality of work opportunities available to them. At the same time, discriminatory policies and deep-rooted social norms continue to create barriers to full economic participation and empowerment of women and girls. In Asia and the Pacific, the women labor force participation rate has been declining. In 2023, it was only 44%, well below the world average. Moreover, women and girls face greater limitation in accessing key resources than men. They are also hindered by legal and social barriers to owning a property or taking out loans, further restricting their opportunities to start up and grow their own businesses. We need to scale up investment to address the existing and widening disparities that prevent women and girls from realizing the full potential. And we need to take immediate actions to provide a robust policy advice and support and innovative solutions. Excellencies, distinguished participants, panelists, let us strive to create a world where the inequalities of the past have no place in the present. To achieve this in the Asia-Pacific region, we need to, firstly, develop and implement effective economic and social policies that bridge the gap between gender and economic inequality. It's encouraging to see some countries in the region expanding social protection coverage effectively to support women in the workforce. Cambodia, for example, under the Social Protection Policy Framework, extends its National Social Security Fund to the informal economic sector, as it is where most women work. Secondly, we must strengthen and enable national institutions and governance to commit to new means of investment in gender equality, integrating gender-responsive budgeting and planning into the design of the fiscal and monetary policies is essential. Working with the private sectors and investors, we need to support the shift from investment for profit to investment for impact. Exchange Commission, SEC, and the Office of the Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise Promotion, the government of Thailand is making strides to lift women into corporate leadership positions in the Thai capital market, to advance the participation of women-owned and women-led businesses into national and global supply chains. Timor-Leste's gender-responsive budgeting policy and Bangladesh's establishment of a national advisory board for impact investment are promoting practices in this regard. And finally, we must develop innovative strategies that recognize and value women's unpaid care and domestic work. A compelling example here I would like to share today comes from the Philippines, where a recent national consultation on valuing unpaid care and domestic work led to recommendations that inform the drafting of a provincial care ordinance. This ordinance is poised to be integrated into local legislation, following a final public hearing in early 2024. Today, we'll hear more from the panel speakers, who will share their inspiring stories and initiatives that contribute to advancing gender equality, economic empowerment, and the overall well-being of women and girls in the Asia-Pacific region. We place gender equality at the heart of our work and will be convening the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on the Beijing Declaration and the Platform for Action on the occasion of its 30th anniversary in November this year, in collaboration with UN-Women. This conference aims to accelerate actions towards achieving the SDGs, emphasizing the critical importance of investing in women as a pathway to progress and change. Together, we can create a future where women and girls are not just included, but truly empowered at every level of economic engagement and every part of our society. Thank you so much. This is the end of the quote. With this, I announce the opening of the Asia-Pacific Regional Commemoration of the International Women's Day 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lin. You highlighted the pressing issue of gendered poverty gap and underscored the vital need for economic empowerment of women and girls all across the Asia-Pacific region. Dear participants, I am now delighted to invite to the stage Ms. Sarah Nibbs, Deputy Regional Director, UN-Women Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, to deliver her opening remarks. Please, Ms. Nibbs.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, current and future women leaders, sisters and brothers in making change. Today, as we unite under the banner of International Women's Day 2024, themed around investing in women to accelerate progress, we stand on the verge of a transformative era. Today is a celebration of everything that women have achieved, but it also has to be a call to act for gender equality, particularly in the realm of women's engagement in the economy and women's empowerment in the economy across our region and beyond. As we've heard already from our distinguished speakers, the journey towards gender equality is long and fraught with challenges. But I believe that if we want to have inspiration and energy on this day, we need only look at the spirit of women and girls, their resilience, their commitment to innovation, which continues to reshape our economic and social landscape. Despite the significant obstacles that women face, from entrenched social norms, discrimination, to legal barriers that can limit economic, social, and political participation, women's contributions remain incredible. Their potential is boundless. However, in 2024, we do find ourselves at a critical juncture, faced with escalating conflicts, climate crisis, and a global pushback on women's rights that cannot be, the impact of which cannot be overestimated. We need to keep this in mind, I believe, all the time. All across the world, over 614 million women and girls are living in conflict-affected areas. They are facing unimaginable and unacceptable hardships, many of which are of a gendered nature. Climate change also disproportionately burdens women and girls, who are often the backbone of food, water, and energy security for their families and for their communities and economies. However, it has to be in these challenges that we find our call to action. Investing in women is not just a choice, it's an imperative for sustainable development. I don't think we can say it better than our Secretary General, who mentioned that to challenge, to change, and to remove the patriarchy, we need money on the table. We need to imagine a world where closing the gender employment gap could increase GDP per capita by 20% across all regions. We need to picture the impact of investing in care services, not only reducing the burden, the heavy burden of unpaid care work on many women across the world, but also creating millions of decent and professionalized jobs. This is not something that we need to keep as a dream. This has to be a reality. At UN Women, our dedication to this cause is unwavering. We strive to ensure that every woman and girl has the opportunity for income security, decent work, and economic autonomy. Through our programs, we aim to empower women to secure jobs, scale up businesses, and access essential resources, all while advocating for policies that champion gender equality and inclusiveness of women and girls in all their diversity. So in closing, I really want to invite every one of you to join us in this endeavor. Now, my speech asked me to invite the young people here to join us in this endeavor. I actually want to say that I think they are actually our leaders in this, and I think we actually need to follow them at this point. They're a very inspiring group of young people that we have here today. So your energy, your innovation, your voices are absolutely critical. Together, I believe we can break down barriers that hinder women's economic empowerment. We can build a world where every woman and girl has the freedom to pursue her dreams, unencumbered by discrimination. So let us carry forward together the legacy of the Beijing Declaration. Let us continue to build on the good work and sacrifice of women who came before us, and let ourselves hold ourselves accountable for the generations of women and girls who are coming after us. Let's challenge the status quo, advocate for change, and invest in women and girls. It really is time to accelerate progress and ensure that gender equality is not just a goal, but the foundation of a sustainable, inclusive future for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sarah Nibs, for your inspiring remarks. Gender equality is indeed a fair wish and a possible dream, particularly when we all work together towards the ambitions of our 2030 agenda. I would also like to say a very warm thank you to you and your team for wonderful collaboration on this regional commemoration as always. Finally, we have a very special message from Her Excellency Ms. Batsetseg Batmunk, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia. Although she cannot be with us in person today, her insights and leadership continue to inspire our discussions. Please may I ask you to direct your attentions to the screen to hear her opening remarks.
Ms. Ali Ayasir, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. At the outset, I commend ESCAP for organizing this commemorative event in observance of International Women's Day under the thought-provoking theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. This initiative is timely and crucial, especially as the world continues its recovery from the pandemic, which has profoundly impacted all facets of their lives. International Women's Day is an important occasion to reflect on our progress, thus call for change and honor women's courage and determination. In today's uncertain times, women's empowerment is essential in addressing pressing issues such as poverty, climate change, and food security. Investing in women and empowering them will accelerate progress and bring peace and prosperity worldwide. However, economic disparities persist between men and women globally, with women generally facing lower pay, high levels of informal employment, and more unpaid care work than men. In 2023, the World Bank reported that an estimated 2.4 billion women of working age lived in economies that did not grant them the same rights as men. To achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, empowering women in the economy and closing gender gaps in the world of works is crucial. Data shows that the closing gender gaps in employment, we can boost our GDP per capita by 20%. Gender equality and women's empowerment are not only essential for achieving inclusive and sustainable development, but also one of the best tools we have for advancing equality for women and girls. Next year, the world will celebrate the 30th anniversary of the historic 1995 United Nations World Conference on Women, a turning point for women's rights, and which 189 countries adopted an action plan for gender equality. The United Nations will also convene at the Summit of the Future, during which the Pact of the Future, the Global Digital Compact, and the Declaration for the Future Generations will be adopted. Also, I'm pleased to announce that the government of Mongolia will convene the World Women's Forum under the auspices of the President of Mongolia on 22 to 23 August 2024 in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. The forum aims to facilitate the constructive dialogue on the importance of women's empowerment, gender equality, climate change, and the effective implementation of the SDGs. We believe that the successful convening of the World Women's Forum will serve as Mongolia's contribution to the upcoming development processes, including the summit of the future and Beijing Plus 30. In conclusion, allow me to emphasize my government's resolute commitment to championing gender equality and fostering the economic empowerment of women. We stand firm in our dedication to creating an inclusive society that recognizes and harnesses the full potential of every individual, irrespective of gender. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughtful remarks, Your Excellency. And now, dear participants, before concluding our opening session, I would like to take a few moments to have a group photo. For this, I would like to hand the floor over to the Secretariat to lead the group photo. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy, and good morning, all distinguished participants. For the group photo, it is my pleasure to invite all our distinguished ambassadors, as well as ESCAP's Deputy Executive Secretary, our Director of the Social Development Division, together with the Deputy Regional Director from UN-Women, to stand on the blue stage. For more smooth movement, you may wish to walk into the two openings over here. And may I now please proceed to invite Her Excellency, Minister Phuangphet Chulnait, to come to the front of the stage, together with all of our moderators and panelists. We will then take group photos of our distinguished participants, and for all of the other in-person participants, may you kindly stand up and turn towards the camera, which is located in the interpreter's booth above us. And for those at the very back of the room, if you cannot see the interpreter's booth, may you please come to the front, fill some empty spaces on the aisle, and make sure that you indeed will be in the picture as well. Following the photo, we will commence our program immediately. On the blue stage, all our distinguished ambassadors, ESCAP's Deputy Executive Secretary, as well as our Director of the Social Development Division, together with the Deputy Regional Director from UN-Women. And in front, Her Excellency Minister Phuangphet Chulnait, together with all of our moderators and panelists. Thank you very much. Ploy, may you just raise your hand? Do you see Ploy with the raised hand here? May you focus your eye gaze on her camera, please? And let's do a big smile for International Women's Day. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, everyone. May you please remain on stage for the larger group photo. All other in-person participants, may you look up towards the interpreter's booth. Kindly stand up. Anyone sitting down, anyone from the back of the room, please come closer so that you can see the interpreter's booth. Okay, we are going to do a countdown to 3, 2, 1, let's go. Happy International Women's Day 2021. Thank you very much, everyone, for your big smiles. We are going to continue our program immediately. So if you may kindly take your seats without delay. And yes, the speakers for the next session, of course, are invited to stay on stage. Thank you very much, everybody. Please take your seats.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished participants, we will now commence the segment on the 2024 edition of Ambassadors for a Day competition. May I please invite our moderator and speakers to take their seats at the sofa, please? Over the past few years, this initiative has gained increasing popularity and influence and is attracting many high-caliber, inspiring participants every year. Youth and future generations stand at the forefront of catalyzing transformative change. In line with this year's initiative, we have empowered our young leaders to delve into innovative policies and financing mechanisms aimed at elevating gender equality and bolstering the economic empowerment of women and girls. Their efforts demonstrate how young leaders can truly make a difference to our inclusive and sustainable societies and economies. It is now my pleasure to invite the co-organizer of the Ambassadors for a Day initiative, Ms. Geeta Sabarwal, UN Resident Coordinator in Thailand, to moderate this session.
Thanks, Cindy. And welcome, everyone. Swadika. This is going to be an exciting 25 minutes that we have. And we have to make the most of these 25 minutes. Let me begin by welcoming Kun Paddington to the UN, Ambassador Millicent as the Dean of the Women's Group of Ambassadors, Kun Ketalia, Kun Thirapat, and Kun Kuwanchok, along with the 32 other young change makers who are joining us in this today, in this iconic UN hall. Today, we leverage the power of women to accelerate SDGs. In this room, we have stellar examples of highly accomplished women, ambassadors, young politicians sitting in the front row, a young party leader, top UN officials. Your expertise, drive, and leadership are critical for fostering gender equality and sustainable development. Kun Paddington, we are going to count on you to inspire women and young people from across Asia and the Pacific who are joining us today to transform societies. Your leadership at the highest levels of democratic politics is an inspiration for women in the region where we see women largely underrepresented in the corridors of power. Evidence tells us that when women are better represented in decision-making, their priorities are much more effectively addressed, contributing in many ways to closing the gender gap. This year, the UN Secretary General will be hosting the Summit of the Future, which is going to result in an intergovernmental pact of the future. This pact is going to aim to scale up financing for sustainable development, promote innovation using technologies such as AI, and making the multilateral system, such as the UN and the IFIs, better fit for purpose. Young leaders like yourselves will need to be an integral part of this dialogue. As stakeholders of the future, your voices are going to be extremely crucial in finding solutions, enacting policies that are effective, and in deepening partnerships. Today, as you can see, we've got a fantastic lineup of speakers and they're going to speak to the agenda of how we invest in women for accelerating progress. I believe SDGs are going to succeed or fail depending largely on how much we leverage women's contributions in the years to come. This is a road that we need to travel together and leverage our intergenerational strengths for inclusion and equality. UN is a product of hope, and the young people are our hope for the future. So let's begin by inviting Ambassador Millicent to step in, take the floor, and share your perspective. Over to you, Ambassador Millicent.
Hello, good morning. Sawadee ka. I am, let me introduce myself by my nickname, Tinta. I'm Tinta, Ambassador of the Philippines, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be the co-coordinator this year of the Ambassador for a Day program. I just would like to say that for several decades, the Philippines has championed gender equality and women's empowerment. The Philippines' advocacy is both historically rooted and current, as well as institutional and personal. I take pride in the fact that on the global stage, the Philippines has been a champion of gender equality and women's empowerment. Filipino women were at the forefront of the negotiations of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, adopted in 1979 and entered into force in 1981. The original signatories of CEDAW can be credited to the Philippines, led by Dr. Leticia Ramos Shahani, a Filipino diplomat at that time, who would eventually become the Secretary General of the World Conference on the UN Decade of Women in Nairobi, Kenya in 1985, and the UN's Assistant Secretary General for Social and Humanitarian Affairs. And the women team who actually drafted that included a few women ambassadors, Filipino ambassadors, whom I've had the privilege of working with, including Ambassador Rosario Manalo, who remains very active in the UN circle until now, and also Ambassador Minerva Falcon, who was at that time a junior officer. The Philippines remains a staunch advocate and will chair the 68th session of the Commission of the Status of Women in New York on 11 to 22 March 2024. And the Philippine government's all-women delegation lent its voice to the regional consultations for the theme topic of the CSW 68, held on 6 to 7 February 2024 in Bangkok. The Philippines advocates for gender-responsive budgeting by allocating funds for programs targeting women and girls' empowerment. The Philippines Conditional Cash Transfer Program goes beyond cash grants to include family development sessions to empower parents, especially mothers, to strengthen their decision-making capacity and knowledge on critical issues. I would like to share now tidbits on women in the Philippine Foreign Service. So I take pride that as of the 1st of March 2024, out of a total of around 94 heads of posts, ambassadors and consuls general, representing the Philippines in various foreign service posts, there are about 40 female, or approximately 42.6%. So I think this could still be raised a little bit more in the future, so we continue to work on empowering women in the foreign service. So now I go now to my personal reflections. I arrived here in Bangkok in November 2020 at the height of the pandemic. And when I arrived, you know, just like, and I address this to the students here, it's like being transferred to a new school, to a new environment. It's daunting, it's scary, you don't know what to expect. My very first official event or activity that I joined was Bangkok Art Biennale in BACC, and the very first ambassador who welcomed me, who made me feel welcome, was then Swiss Ambassador Helen, who immediately, upon learning that I was the female ambassador from the Philippines, I am, by the way, the fourth of a series of female ambassadors assigned here in Thailand, when we used to assign military officials, retired military officials in the early days. So now I am the fourth, and I intend to have a fifth. I will be recommending a fifth woman ambassador after me. So going back to my story, that was when Ambassador Helen welcomed me to the women's group. We have this informal women ambassadors group. We are only right now 15 out of 80-something ambassadors based here in Thailand. We are a small group, but I think we are the louder group. And we do things together. We share a lot of things. We share our networks. We share both professional and personal matters. So we travel together. We present ourselves as a group of women who are empowered. Again, I'm already on my fourth year here, and I am not new anymore. So the welcome that I was given when I was new, I intend, and I am doing right now, to pay it forward by welcoming the newcomers. We have a few newcomers here in Thailand, including, and I'd like to say this again, Singapore. For a long time, I was the lone female ambassador within the ASEAN group. So now there are two of us women here right now. I just would like to acknowledge, because this project of Ambassadors for a Day program, I'd like to acknowledge those who were before us, who established this. This is a baby of former Canadian Ambassador Sarah Taylor. And you know, we're like a tag team. Somebody will have to host the reception the night before. So at the time, it was Ambassador Helen of Switzerland who hosted the reception, followed by the following year, Sibyl of Belgium, who's here, became the coordinator the following year. Of course, supported by Sarah to do the hosting. Then Angela was last year of Australia, and Sibyl did the reception. So now I am the co-coordinator. Next year I will be doing the reception, and Angela did the reception last night to kick off this activity. So let me end by saying that Madeleine Albright was quoted to have said that there's a special place in hell for women who do not help women. But let me paraphrase that. Let me paraphrase that in a positive way, that there's a special place in heaven for women who help women. So in our group, that is what we do. Because now we feel empowered.
Yeah.
We are empowered women who empower women. So I hope that this will resonate to our young leaders who are present here, both the female and the male students. And so this is the message we, women ambassadors, impart to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Millicent. I'm going to match your number with a number from Thailand. 47% of CFOs here in Thailand are women, right? So that's a great number to match. But let's move on. Kun Patangton, I would like to invite you as the keynote speaker for today. And you know, you are amongst the youngest party leaders in Asia and the Pacific. So over to you. Let's give her a big round of applause as she takes the floor.
Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning. Deputy Executive Secretary of UNESCAP, Regional Director of the UN-Women, Asia Pacific, United Nations Resident Coordinator in Thailand, ambassadors, young leaders, and distinguished guests. We are gathering here today at the UNESCAP to celebrate International Women's Day. I stand before you as a proud woman who leads the Pheu Thai Party and also the Deputy Chairwoman of the National Soft Power Strategy Committee. I would like to consider myself a woman who has been invested in politics as the goal of this talk aims today. In recent years, the world has progressed a lot more towards the stronger rights for us women, thanks to the SDG advocacy by the UN and its partners worldwide, including Thailand. However, progress does not equate perfection, and many women in Thailand still suffer from unfairness in workplace, discrimination, domestic violence, or gender bias. This has to change. As a woman leader of a political party, I always hold the significance of investing women in politics in mind. In the last election, we gained quite a number of female MPs, which amount to 23% of our all elected seats, which is above the average number of female Thai MPs in parliament. Yet, we know that this can be improved. Hence, in the next election, we aim to reach the global average proportion of women in parliaments, which is 26.5%. Also, we will sustain our tradition of gender equality in the party as the model for all political parties in Thailand. Not only within inner tradition, but we also strive to advocate women in politics and bridge the inequality gap via various tangible policies. First, the Women Empowerment Fund, a policy implemented during Yingluck's administration, aimed to finance women to develop their skills, and it is until today one of the most concrete allocations of budget to women in Thai political history. We will encourage this government to continue this torch to illuminate the firm path for all women. Second, the One Family, One Soft Power for all force policy. This scheme will help identify hidden talents, retain women's skills, and unleash their potentials to meet the global demands. There will be incubator centers all over the country where proper training programs will be well prepared to reskill and upskill our women to fulfill their dreams job in industries such as film, fashion, food, design, and arts. Third, the Marriage Equality Bill. With the enforcement, Thailand would become the first country in Southeast Asia to affirm marriage equality and strengthen Thailand's positions as Asia's most open LGBT+ community. Fourth, the free cervical cancer vaccination. Since health is power, this policy aims to offer access for free cervical vaccination, which will definitely lead to significant reduction of women's mortality rates. As of 25th February, this government has managed to distribute over 1.6 million doses of cervical vaccines to women across the country. Last but not least, the Ending Violence Against Women policy. Thailand has ranked as one of the highest rates of violence against women, with 30,000 cases per year. And at least 7 Thai women are being subjected to physical, mental, or social abuse per day. Soon, the Pheu Thai Party will propose the Family Protection Bill to stop this unfair and ill treatment towards women, granting them the political ground to stand firm as proud women like me today. I believe these examples have drawn a clear picture of how Pheu Thai Party's women empowerment policies would help accelerate the SDGs framework in Thailand. As Mr. Kofi Annan, former Secretary General of the United Nations once said, gender equality is more than a goal itself. It is precondition for meeting the challenge of reduction poverty, promoting sustainable development, and building good governance. We, Pheu Thai Party, understand that empowering women is not just a matter of justice and equality, but it is essential for sustainable and inclusive development. On this International Women's Day, let us reaffirm our commitment to a world where every woman and girl can live without fear, discrimination, or limitations. Thank you.
Kun Pathungton, thank you very much for your inspiring message. We are going to be counting on your leadership for raising this ambition, for raising the ambition of gender equality in Parliament, in society, to make society safe and fair for women and young people in this country. So thank you very much. Let me now invite Kun Ketilia, the Deputy Director General, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Kun Kita. Swadika, Excellencies, distinguished participants. First, I would like to wish all of you a very happy International Women's Day. And I'm personally very pleased and very honored to be participating at this event. I would also like to thank the UN Resident Coordinator, Kun Kita, and your office, and also Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the Philippines, and also all embassies and UN entities who have supported this very important initiative for the past 4 years. And also to thank ESCAP and the UN-Women for organizing this event this morning. I think over the years we have witnessed outstanding performances by women, not only in Thailand but beyond. And as Kun Pratongthan has mentioned, in terms of women in politics in Thailand, we are seeing progress. We are seeing almost 20% of women lawmakers in parliament, but of course more can be done. We have 700 executives in local authorities being female in Thailand. We have 147 women in executive positions in the government sector. So these are just a few examples. Also in the Foreign Ministry, we are making progress. I think we have to follow the Philippines' good example. But we have had 2 permanent secretaries who are female, including our present permanent secretary, Kun Eksiri. We have several deputy permanent secretaries who are female, and also director generals who are female as well. And they have been instrumental in shaping Thailand's foreign policy. But of course, I think more needs to be done, and we are trying to do more. This year's theme of investing in women is a very timely theme, because women, gender equality, and women empowerment are drivers for economic growth and sustainable development. As you can see, SDG 5 is part of sustainable development. And we believe that actually SDG 5 is one of the prerequisites, if you like, for achieving SDGs. In terms of the challenges that we are still facing, and I'm talking in general, both in Thailand and beyond, I think we still have a lot of structural challenges. We have the issue of gender stereotyping, the question of access to education, or responsibility of unpaid care. So these are just some of our barriers that women in Thailand and beyond are still facing. And to address these challenges, I think we need to work together to try to perhaps raise more awareness, to try to promote structural change and also in terms of the allocation of resources as well. And in order to try to create a more enabling condition for women empowerment. And I think as previous speaker have mentioned about how investing in women is no longer a choice, I think that's very true. And I think we need to look at mainstreaming gender in all types of investment. So it's not only about investing in women as such, but try to mainstream gender perspective in all aspects of investments. So I hope we will continue to work together, not only to discuss, but perhaps to take action, try to reduce the legal, the policy barrier, but perhaps more importantly, to try to reduce the socio-cultural barrier that women across all regions are still facing. And in concluding, it's my hope that our ambassadors for a day today, actually I've met them from last night, and they really inspired me, and also this morning. So I hope that our ambassadors for a day will continue to grow and will continue to become strong voices to advocate for women and gender empowerment and women. So, and I think my ending would be that don't lose your inspiration. So, we might get lost along the way, we might be sidetracked, but always keep your inspiration and remind yourself of your purpose. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kun Katilia. Your partnership with the UN and the women ambassadors, it means a lot to all of us. So thank you very much for that. Let me now invite one of our change makers, Kun Teparit, who shadows Ambassador Millicent, to share his perspective. The floor is yours, Kun Teparit.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Today I speak on behalf of my generation as an advocate for gender equality. Too long have we seen this intergenerational divide. Discrimination not only limit individual potential but also slow down social development. The 32 of us, ambassadors for the youth representative, will enter in the job market soon. But however, women and LGBTQ people still face bias in hiring process that can affect into just description or interview session. This is a major problem. Investing in workplace diversity, equity, and inclusion policy remain crucial, and this is solution. AI can provide a decision-making platform that independent of human bias, and moreover, companies should make job advertisement gender neutral or show off their inclusivity in external communication, like imagine the innovation, collaboration, and accomplishment that can emerge when we tap into the talent of all by investment in our betterment society. Let us be the generation to build a world where our differences are valued, where discrimination become a thing of the past, and where opportunity are accessible to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kun Teparit. I know that you're going to be using AI and making sure that it isn't gender blind. So thank you very much. Let me now invite Kun Kawan Chonok. She is shadowing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Kun Katilia, you and your team. Over to you.
Thank you, Kangita. My name is Kwanchino Paka Akalaletgun, and I'm an 11th grade student at Thai Chinese International School. So let us circle back to our key points for today: financing and investment. Our financial decisions are crucial as they can dismantle barriers, promote gender equality, and empower underserved communities. Integrating gender lens into auto companies where female perspectives are incorporated into car crash dummies development can enhance safety while addressing initial male-centric designs. It is vital to invest in education for women. It is vital to invest in education for women engineers to foster diverse perspectives in male-dominant fields while utilizing technology to address gender gaps. Similarly, within healthcare, awareness of differences between male and female heart attack symptoms could be life-saving. Thus, AI-assisted doctors and medical screenings would be a pivotal solution to address bias and lead to health equity for all. Women's health and discrimination has prevailed for too long, and now is the time to ensure fairness for all. Investing AI in education for women could be the first solution to address the 3rd and 5th SDG goal. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kuwan Chok. Thank you very much. And it's really inspiring to see you entering the field of AI as well. Last night, I remember Ambassador Angela telling me that one of her previous shadows is looking at gaming as the field that she wants to enter, right? So it's fascinating seeing these new areas that are opening up. But let's move on. This is the exciting part. I'm going to invite 6 members of our audience to step in to share one key message in one sentence for our young change makers. And I'm going to start with Ambassador Sibyl, Belgium. Where are you? There, over to you.
So the first message from my part would be gender equality is not a struggle of women against men. It's a collective and a collective fight, I would say, but fight is not the right word. A collective struggle, a collective quest for more harmony, more respect, more equality that give a chance to all, and it benefits everyone. And my call is to invite both women and men not to see it as a fight against each other.
Thank you. Collective quest, that's the key word. And now I'm going to come to Cabinet Minister Kun Phuongphet. Over to you for your one sentence.
Okay. Excellency, to all distinguished guests, I would like to say that politics is very essential and involved to all. To all young people, I would like to say that don't be afraid to join the politics. We must show and begin with women empowerment to make better society. Happy International Women's Days. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So don't be afraid to join politics. That's the message. Let's move on to Ambassador Cecilia of Peru. Ambassador Cecilia, there. Speak up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I would say that when we reflect about success in life, in general, we shouldn't be afraid of failure. Success in the end is made of, many trials and errors. It's a process. So I, encourage all of these wonderful young, people who accompany us who are shadows this year to have that in mind and don't be afraid of, making mistakes. Just learn from them and be perseverant in following your dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Cecilia. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the key message coming from there. Let's move on. I wanted to invite Kun Jirapong, the young member of parliament from Roy Eth. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to send a key message to especially the young leader. Embrace the power within you. We hold the key to shaping the future where the equality, the prosperity, and democracy thrive. And our courage, resilience, and vision will pave the way for the generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So it's about courage, resilience, and vision for the future. Thank you very much. I'm now going to invite Ambassador of Norway, Astrid. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Gina and colleagues. My message will be to all women and young men, leaders for a free and equal society for all gender. It's to learn, look at others, be inspired, be open-minded, but never, ever try to be a copy of somebody else. Be genuine, be yourself, be faithful to your values, and trust in yourself. You will be authentic, then you will earn the confidence of people around you, but you will also open the possibility for all others to be themselves and to be authentic. Good luck.
Beautiful message. Be yourself, trust yourself, be true to your values. Beautiful. Let's move on to a final audience, member of the audience, Kun Saratsonon, a young MP from Konkan. Over to you.
Okay, good morning to you all. I'd like to send one short and sweet message to all the girls and women, and also to the people of all diversities, that success does not determine your worth and existence, but instead it's your confidence. Believe in yourself on days that nobody would, and don't be shy to dream high, and instead you'll work your off. Work hard as possible for it. And last but not least, but most importantly, is that you should be humble and you should be kind to everybody around you. Thank you.
So the message of being humble and kind, right? And success is not everything in life, even though it's important. Let me now end this panel. I'm going to play a 1-minute video of a montage of all the winners. And my team tells me that Hollywood is soon going to go out of business when you see this montage. So the last minute, can you please play the montage?
We're ethical support schools in creating a truly supportive and non-discriminatory environment.
Everyone has equal opportunity to thrive in any profession.
What if we can
invest money into the women-led sustainable businesses?
Empowering women to pursue their dreams career.
Fundraising campaign. Any girl can code. To buy computer for underprivileged girls to learn coding.
Giving a scholarship for girls who is in a STEM field.
We could use AI to providing more equal access to learning,
help investment by analyzing market trends.
Make this topic decent so that we can reach out to everyone.
I would propose a monetary policies aimed at promoting gender equality by eliminating taxes on sanitary napkins,
strengthening gender responsive budget,
implementing equal pay,
lower the interest rates of business where entrepreneurs are women.
To achieve gender equality, it requires cooperation from all parties.
We should remember that true equality is not just sharing load, it's about sharing the power.
We thank all the panelists, Kun Patangton, Ambassador Millicent, Kun Katilia, Kun Tirapat, and Kun Kuanchok. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us this morning. We've got the second panel coming up. Over to you.
Ms. Savarwal, for your efforts in organizing such an inspiring session, highlighting the importance of having women in leadership positions and also promoting the youth. Thank you all to our participants. Please give another round of applause. It is so inspiring to see the commitment and the potential of our youth leaders in advancing gender equality to secure prosperous and just economies. I don't know about you, but I definitely I'm feeling very, very hopeful for our future. Excellencies, dear participants, friends and colleagues, I now have the honor of moderating the panel discussion on Invest in Women, Accelerating Progress to commemorate International Women's Day 2024. May I request all the panelists to join me up on the stage here? And I will make my way over to join you. Hello? Okay, wonderful. We have with us an excellent panel of representatives from an international organization, civil society, as well as the private sector. The panelists will discuss some of the barriers that women and girls face in accessing financing and the consequences this has on gendered poverty. However, they will also inspire us by sharing innovative solutions that they have supported to promote investment in women and the shift to green, inclusive economies and care societies, as well as support for feminist change makers. We have heard time and time again today about the importance of investing in women to promote progress on the SDGs, particularly SDG 1 on ending poverty. As the panelists will share, there are concrete actions that governments can do, as well as the private sector, UN entities, and CSOs can take towards achieving these goals. For the panel discussion, I will ask each of our participants a question to which they will have 3 minutes to respond. Then I will ask another round of questions, and again 3 minutes. And then after that, time permitting, I will give the floor to our participants to see if there is any interventions. And I will ask that each intervention will be limited to 2 minutes each, please. For our first panelist, Ms. Kate Lazarus, Senior Environment, Social and Governance Advisory Lead for Asia Pacific International Finance Corporation. Ms. Lazarus has 24 years of experience in environmental and social risk management and standard setting. She co-developed and led the Powered by Women initiatives in Myanmar and Nepal to promote gender diversity in the renewable sector. Ms. Lazarus, gender equality and economic inclusion are priorities of the International Finance Corporation. What investment initiatives have you seen that are particularly effective in supporting women's economic empowerment, and how can governments support these initiatives?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation to IFC. Really happy to be here, and also very inspired by all of the presentations and also hearing from the youth as well. So we've talked already a lot about some of the key barriers. What I wanted to do just in the few minutes is to just give a few examples of what we as a financier have done, and also put out a call to action to other financiers as well as the private sector to really look at innovative ways in which we can invest in women and use our resources both as an investor and as an advisor. We play both roles. So just two quick examples where IFC has provided investment. One here, just starting in Thailand because we are here. We provide loans to banks, particularly to support women entrepreneurs. An example is a $105 million loan to the Thai Credit Retail Bank, which we made last year, really to support female entrepreneurs in Thailand. And an example in Indonesia, where we provided $500 million to PT Bank by providing social and green bond issuance. And that really enables us to gear our use of proceeds, particularly to women and gender-related issues. What I'm inspired by, beyond the way in which we can invest, is really when we can look at bringing different stakeholders together through peer-to-peer learning platforms. Sometimes that involves clients that we already have. Sometimes that's not yet our clients, but they may become our clients. An example of that is that initiative Powered by Women, which I co-led in Myanmar and Nepal. And there we brought together representatives of the renewable energy sector. The power sector is a sector which I've worked in, which I think many people know is very male-dominated. And I've experienced that challenge, as well as I've seen others who have been challenged by working in that sector. So by bringing the private sector, particularly representatives of hydropower companies and associations together, along with the government, to look at some of the barriers they face. Women in leadership, how to get more women in leadership positions, both on boards and as managers, women in non-traditional roles as security guards or as engineers, more respectful workplace policies such as addressing anti-sexual harassment, gender-based violence, especially in sectors that work in remote areas, as well as how we genderize the environmental and social impact assessment. So how we look at how that lands on communities and the differentiated impacts among women and men. And the results of that have been that we were able to significantly increase women on boards. 106 policies and practices were either improved or created to address gender-based violence and harassment and respectful workplaces. And there was a significant increase in barriers for women in the job market. Who inspires me? The first female Pakistani driver in a male-dominated sector in Pakistan where you don't see women truck drivers. And Akbar was an inspiration to me because she was one of the first. She was a woman, and she also got her driver's license. Many of the men didn't have their driver's license. And the second is the all-female Lao UXO team. So where Laos is one of the most heavily bombed countries in this region, there was an all-female team that was created to really look at how to eliminate UXOs in that country, and they were persevered and worked hard to try to find UXOs. I'll stop now. Thank you.
Amazing. I just thank you for sharing really specific examples of initiatives and concrete actions that governments can take to really support women's economic empowerment. Our next speaker is Ms. Sanjana Chantial, a member of the UN-Women Asia and the Pacific's 30 for 2030 Network and USAID's Youth Excel's Global Youth Advisory Council. She leads programs that connect youth to education, employment, and entrepreneurship opportunities, including founding the Stree Shakti Project, which prepares young women to pursue a career in Nepal's energy sector. Ms. Chantial, as the world shifts to a green economy in order to address climate change, women, particularly young women and girls, are going to need to develop skills and learn how to work in green jobs. Your project, Stree Shakti, which prepares young women to pursue careers in Nepal's energy sector, what skills specifically do you see young women needing in order to pursue goals in this area? And again, how can governments support that?
Thank you for that question, Cindy. Hi, everyone. I'm delighted to be here today. So a key barrier is that information on green jobs is not easily available and accessible. There is lack of clarity on how the existing skill sets can contribute to green economy and what other skill sets need to be acquired. So training workshops and resources on what green economy is and how different fields of study can contribute to it is important. The gender-based stereotype of jobs from traditional economy is impacting the green economy as well. For instance, there is a misconception that the energy sector is only for engineers. This misconception is especially harmful because we have low representation of women in the engineering field of study. So these gender-based stereotypes of jobs need to be addressed. Digital skills are a critical element of the green economy, and thus the digital gender divide must be addressed as well. So key stakeholders, especially educational institutions, employers, and governments must collaborate, not once, continuously. Educational institutions must prepare young women for green jobs. Employers must conduct job fairs targeted towards young women, and governments must ensure that they are cultivating a favorable environment where young women can thrive in the green economy. Because of structural and systemic barriers, the jobs of many youths are 3D, dirty, difficult, dangerous. As economies transition, the time is now to transition the jobs of youths to 3G, global, green, gender equal. Thank you, and back to you, Cindy.
Amazing. Thank you, Ms. Chantial, for sharing valuable perspectives on the essential skills young women need and also how governments can support this. I would now like to introduce Ms. Payal Pathak as a program officer for Visa Foundation. Ms. Pathak is responsible for overseeing an international portfolio of grants designed to support the growth of gender diverse and inclusive businesses globally. She has led initiatives to address the gender financing gap, climate change, and sustainable agriculture. Ms. Pathak, as Visa Foundation is working to increase women's control of capital, women's entrepreneurship opportunities, as well as women's inclusion in business and as managers, employees, and customers, Can you please tell us a little bit about the programs that you have seen have had the greatest impact on women's involvement in business as entrepreneurs and likewise?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, and thank you all for gathering here today. It's an absolute honor to be here with you all. So just taking a quick step back, for context, Visa and Visa Foundation have a shared goal of supporting and advancing small businesses globally, and we do so through inclusive financial inclusion. And so for us as a foundation, we set out about 4 years ago to incorporate a gender lens across our endowment. And by that I mean we're using both grants and investments to support the growth of women-led, gender-diverse businesses, as well as women-led diverse funds who are investing in those businesses. So as we think about impact, we find in our approach that where impact is greatest is where we are supporting nonprofit organizations that are diverse themselves, women-led funds, gender-diverse funds, that are in turn supporting and incorporating a gender lens across their holistic suite of services, which can include digital financial education, access to training, access to networks, peer-to-peer learning, as well as, and not to forget, access to capital and digital financial services. And so we're thrilled by and inspired by many examples in our partnerships, of course, one of which is UN-Women. And we are in partnership with UN-Women, IDRC, BOPINC, and Seed Stars supporting a care accelerator. And we've heard a little bit about already today about the importance of care services and care delivery models. But we have been in partnership with UN-Women over the last couple of years to deliver through the entrepreneurial ecosystem in partnership with entrepreneurs themselves, namely women, as well as policymakers, entrepreneur support organizations, and investors to advance and scale care delivery models in Asia Pacific. And of course, our hope is to launch and scale those programs and accelerator programs globally. And so we're, as I said, we're inspired by so many incredible businesses that have participated in the Care Accelerator, one of which is Life Circle, which has been in operation in India, connecting through their platform roughly 6,000 care providers, 80% of whom are women, to those in need of care services, primarily for senior or elder care. And so for us, it's critical, as I said, for that triple level of impact to occur, not just at the business, at the impact business, but the entrepreneurs themselves, the micro-entrepreneurs, the care service providers who are providing those critical services, and the end beneficiary oftentimes is the female head of household who now is able to access those care services and hopefully seek other opportunities for income generation. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Ms. Pathak, for outlining all the different impactful programs that you were able to deliver. We now proceed to our second round of questions, turning back to you, each of you, for further exploration. Ms. Lazarus, IFC has partnered with UN-Women and other entities to promote the Ring the Bell for Gender Equality initiative. What impact do you see from promoting gender equality in stock exchanges on private sector behaviors, as well as ultimately on the economic empowerment of women?
Thank you. So many might think of IFC just as an investor, but we also work at the regulatory level, so with governments, as well as at the firm level with corporates and financial institutions. But one of the key areas of focus is what we call the market level. So really working with different market players to build up awareness, build up capacity, and help to transform the market. So definitely the stock exchanges are one of our key partners, and we try to leverage the stock exchanges to advance women leaders. It's a key component of a global program we have on women on boards and business leadership. And here we're also partnering with the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges and UN-Women to help in scaling this up globally. So part of this, a core part of it, is awareness, We do see that awareness is growing among the exchanges about the role that they can play in advancing gender equality in the Asia region, but we also see that much more needs to be done. For example, we see the deficit in publicly available data on leadership of listed companies. This highlights the fundamental role that stock exchanges can play in improving disclosure and transparency practices of their issuers. We also see that there's an opportunity to include indicators on disclosure or listing requirements, and these can help to create data products that highlight the performance on gender equality. So definitely there's an increasing recognition that gender equality through business operations, value chain means that we can retain and obtain better talent, higher productivity, more customers, and better societal outcomes. So late last year with UNSSC and UN-Women, we released the 2023 Gender Equality in Corporate Leadership Market Monitor for Asia. And some of the key highlights of that market monitor were around the notion of empowering progress through data. So there was a ranking of 1,700 listed companies, which provides benchmarks for stakeholders, enabling a comprehensive understanding of the state of gender equality. There's tracking progress year on year, so that annual data, and really about driving governance reform. So the IFC's interventions in various countries where we introduce corporate governance or ESG codes aims to advance gender diversity. So let me just give you an example. In Papua New Guinea, last year we helped the Papua New Guinea Stock Exchange to introduce a new corporate governance code to enhance standards for listed companies. And this was quite progressive. Within that code, they included recommendations to increase female board directors while also emphasizing the importance of disclosure of gender pay and policies against gender-based violence. And for example, in Vietnam, we've collaborated with the stock exchange there. They also issued the first corporate governance code, which had a provision for at least 2 female board members or 30% of female board members. So there's actually a lot of examples across the Asia region where the stock exchanges are instituting their own policies and then rolling that out, across the market, and this can be very powerful.
Very powerful indeed. Thank you for explaining that to us, Ms. Lazarus. I will now give the floor to our next panelist, Ms. Chantial. You are involved in a number of global and regional initiatives that connect youth to education, employment, and entrepreneurship opportunities. Can you share with us how we can expand access of financing to feminist change makers such as yourself who are leading efforts to tackle women's poverty and inequality?
Thank you for that question, Cindy. So we should start by asking the core questions, right? Is the current financial system conducive to feminist organizations? What are the investment metrics that move capital? Who decided on those investment metrics and who has the power to change that? If we look at the current investment landscape, millions and billions of dollars are invested in for-profit organizations that do not generate any profits and are projected to not generate any profits for the next several years. It is widely accepted by the industry that these organizations are in early stages, and because they are focused on market expansion, customer acquisition, technological innovation, it is common for them to have negative profit margins. Investors are competing to invest in these cash-burning organizations because the perceived total addressable market for the solutions is humongous. But when it comes to investing in feminist solutions and social organizations, the same investors will now look for financial sustainability on day one. There's a clear double standard, right? They will put forward excuses such as the profit margins are not that attractive, or the feminist solutions have a niche focus, so the total addressable market is quite limited. Patriarchal practices are hindering progress in every community, and there's not a single country in the world that has achieved full gender equality. So the total addressable market for feminist solutions is sadly the entire world. I do not know how we could possibly have a bigger market size than that. So it's very important that investors understand the grassroots realities and lived experiences of feminist leaders and feminist organizations and design investment metrics, investment processes based on that reality. They should not use old financial products on feminist solutions, and frankly, they should provide the same flexibility to feminist solutions that they provide to other tech solutions. One thing that we hear quite often is that it is not as bad as it used to be. Well, it is not as good as it should be, as it can be, and that is where our focus should be. Thank you.
You make some very good points there, Ms. Chantial. For our final question, Ms. Pathak, the Visa Foundation is also working to change gender lens investing from niche to mainstream. How can gender equality advocates help promote this shift?
Thank you. So in 2023, it was reported that companies founded solely by women garnered roughly 2% of total capital invested in venture-backed startups, and that was in the United States. So there is a significant gap, and Sanjana, you had alluded to that as well. So from our perspective as Visa Foundation, we see our role as helping shift the control of capital so that it is more equitable. Over the last 4 years, we have deployed over $200 million across both grants and investments to support the growth of women-led businesses. And in that effort, supported roughly a little over 4 million women-led businesses and unlocked an additional $2 billion in capital for businesses globally. But outside of our direct grants and investments, we see our role as also helping investors understand the persistent bias that does exist in investing in women-led or gender-diverse funds, and we do so by supporting research. An example of which is up and coming, the Project Catalyst report, which I do encourage you all to review. It's led by 2X Global and is a publication that will outline a landscape of all women-led, gender-diverse funds that exist globally. And in so doing, our hope is also to connect investors to funds that are diverse so that we can continue this investment in women-led businesses globally. And then I would just say, last but not least, is to introduce actionable frameworks for investors to identify and invest in impact businesses, in care, in green and ag tech as well. And I know that, and just as a shout out to our partners at UN-Women again, who have partnered with Value for Women in publishing an actionable framework for investors to invest in care economy businesses. So thank you very much and appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pathak. It was a great note to end the panel on. We can shift the gender lens investing to more mainstream. I know will have tremendous impact on women's economic empowerment. Thank you again to all of our panelists for all of your insightful comments. I would now like to open the floor for any in-person participants who would like to share comments or questions. I think we are slightly over schedule, so we're going to have to be very brief about it. However, we will start with a special intervention from the government of Finland. Please, Ambassador Järviaho, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Cindy, and great to be here this morning celebrating International Women's Day with all of you, obviously. And let me also thank UN ESCAP and also UN-Women for organizing today's event. What a wonderful event, and very inspired by the young ambassadors also. So that's a wonderful thing. International Women's Day, of course, is a celebration of equality and reminder of our work, of our goals on gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. We know that achieving sustainable development agenda is not possible without women's and girls' equal rights, participation and economic empowerment. Gender equality boosts economic growth, but inequality and discriminatory gender norms still form a major obstacle for women's and girls' economic empowerment. Inclusive education is a critical entry point for the economic empowerment of women and girls. Other critical measures are also needed, including financial inclusion, closing the gender pay gap, and digital divide, more equal sharing of care responsibilities between women and men, access to quality healthcare, welfare, and social protection. We are also painfully aware that crises, conflicts, and war are exacerbating poverty and inequalities, and how disproportionately women and girls are suffering in wars and conflicts around the world at the moment. The pursuit of peace and security must be at the heart of our common agenda, and this in turn requires full participation of women and girls. This year, we had an opportunity to produce a photographic exhibition for the International Women's Day, together with UN-Women Asia and the Pacific. And now it's taking place here in the UN-ESCAP. In the exhibition, the Finnish veteran journalist, Mr. Rauli Virtanen, has portrayed women's and girls' lives in Asia through his camera lens for more than 4 decades. Rauli Virtanen is an award-winning Finnish journalist who has traveled extensively in the hotspots of the world, including Asia and the Pacific. This January, Rauli Virtanen was awarded a Golden Venla Lifetime Achievement Award at the Finnish TV Gala for his lifelong work. We hope these photos will visualize the lives of women and girls in their daily lives and work, and their valuable contribution to their local communities. I would like to invite you all to the exhibition just outside this conference room right after when we finish here. Rauli Virtanen is also present and can give some more insights into his photographs and his journey in Asia. So thank you once more for UN-Women as co-organizer of this exhibition, and thank you everyone, and hope to see you in the exhibition. Happy International Women's Day to all.
Thank you, Ambassador Yarho. The floor is now open to interventions or questions from governments. Okay, or we would now like to open the floor to intervention or questions from United Nations entities, civil society, youth, or any other participants. Don't be shy, I think, as somebody's mentioned earlier. Yes.
Good morning to all of you and happy International Women's Day. I am Nam Pongwitun, a Canadian Shadow Ambassador for this year. And as a youth that I'm currently working in the environmental youth organization, now I'm trying to promote green jobs to the university students. So I would like to ask to all the speakers, what are the 3 main skills that we need for the green economy in the future? Thank you.
Who would like to take that one? I think Ms. Chantiel.
Hi, thank you for that question. So from my perspective, right, every field of study can contribute to it. The main skill that is needed, it would be a mix of technical and soft skills. The technical skills would be more digital skills, being able to use the latest application softwares, and the soft skills would be about innovation. Innovation is critical to green economy, and sadly, starting from our education system, we're not really encouraged to innovate, right? We are expected to follow the status quo, and innovation is a skill that needs to be practiced. So I feel like the education system must incorporate innovation as a core element of it, so that innovation becomes second nature to everyone, and we start seeing more opportunities to transform the systems around us. So I think an innovation skill is the critical one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So a combination of technical and soft skills. Any other questions or statements? Yes?
Hello. So happy International Women's Day to all. I have a question that, are there any medical opportunities for women within each of your sectors?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Are there any medical opportunities that women can participate in within each of your sectors?
Do you mean in the sort of broader health space? Yeah. So, I mean, within IFC, we have a strong focus on health. It's not my particular area, but we do have both. We invest in hospitals, for example. So, as an investor, but we also provide innovative technical solutions for different kinds of equipment. So particularly AI is, entering into this space as to where AI can contribute into the health space for equipment generation or imaging and other needs that are required for the health professionals. So yeah, there's definitely a strong focus in, if you look at international financial institutions.
Thank you very much. I believe we have a request from UNFPA to make a statement as well. The floor is yours.
It's the questions. So I'm from Concan, Thailand, and I work for local gender equality learning centers in the local community in Thailand. So I would like to ask, is there any solutions for the girls or every genders in the local community to have the way to access more technologies to have a better quality of life? Thank you.
Initiatives for girls on the local level to access technology resources. Does anybody want to take that?
Thank you so much for the question. Well, we have invested and supported a number of organizations that are establishing community centers all over the world that are providing access to STEM education, to digital education, and connectivity to other financial services and products that'll help their businesses grow and them to develop into other economic opportunities. And so if you have any questions, I'm happy to chat more about some of those opportunities based on where you are and how communities can access those services.
Yes.
In addition, as part of our work, when we look at, on the ground, the differentiated impacts between men and women on private sector investment, definitely different technologies emerge and maybe quite relevant to where you are in Konkan. For example, we've been working on the Mekong River for a long time, and one of the key ways in which communities can help is about collecting of data and using different tools like online, using from your mobile phone to collect information, to use GIS, to use remote sensing, ways in which you can capture local data on the ground that can help inform, decision making. In Thailand, that has been around Thaiban research, which you may be familiar with, and that's villager-led and owned research. That's just another mechanism to contribute to broader research that's being done globally, so to make sure the local voices are included.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your responses. I believe we have one more intervention.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, the panelists, and also excellent questions. So I just have one appeal to all the audience here, because it's a very unique setting today, and with all the ambassadors and the representatives from the UN organizations, as well as the young ambassadors. So yeah, not just the young, you want to become the young ambassadors, a driving force for change, a driving force for progress. So here we in ESCAP, as Geeta said that, we're going to, United Nations is going to organize the Summit of the Future in September. One pillar of that future, of the summit, is the youth and the future generations. Here in ESCAP, we want you to become the messenger and to be also the advocate for this summit. At the same time, we want you to be the advocate for a kind of international dialogues, as yesterday mentioned by Ambassador Philippines. So you will be the bridge to bridge the present and with the future. Please disseminate the message and become the advocates to foster the intergenerational solidarity, intergenerational equity, and international intergenerational dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I believe that is now, one more. Okay, one more. Yes.
Good morning. I apologize. Good morning. My name is Fatawan Chokchapesan, and I actually don't have any questions, but just like a brief statement and a thank you notes. So I particularly liked the questions where you discuss how do we expand access to people to from faraway places in Thailand. Also, as much as I feel very honored to being here, I'm also very keen on how can we expand those access into people in faraway places, especially female, and also in East Asia Pacific. So I will be sure to take your insightful inputs, whether in financing, stocking exchange, and also green jobs into my next step, which is trying to become a change maker and manpower or women power, in developing sustainable developments into gender equality and mainstreaming gender perspective into investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As this is a celebration of International Women's Day, and we also have such passionate and inspired youths, we have two more statements or questions. So please, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Tim. As now I'm working for the Thai MPs, I have the question related to the government. How and in what way Thai government can accelerate green works toward women by having multilateral cooperation or support from international organizations? Can be any policy recommendation from speakers?
Can you ask one more time, slightly slower, please?
Okay.
Okay, one more time, please.
How and in what way Thai government can accelerate green works toward women by having multilateral cooperation or support from international organizations? It can be any policy recommendation.
Okay. How can Thai women access more green works? And how can multinational corporations support that?
So I think when we are looking at how we can increase access of young women to green jobs, we need to take an ecosystem lens, right? We're not only looking at the problem at the ground level, but we're looking at it from the bird's eye view as well. So there are different roles that different stakeholders can play. For instance, when a young woman entrepreneur is trying to launch her green solution in the market, there might be various barriers that can exist. In addition to access to finance, the young entrepreneur might need access to other value chain stakeholders as well, like suppliers, customers. There are various ecosystem stakeholders that have an influence on the entrepreneur ecosystem. So analyzing what different roles those stakeholders play and identifying where interventions are needed is critical. And it's very important for us to have a bottom-up and top-down approach. Sometimes we might think of strategies as this or that, but it's usually this and that, or maybe neither this nor that and something else, right? So I think it's very important for us to not be looking at things from a limited perspective, but really infuse financial imagination and innovation when we are designing these solutions.
One other intervention is, in addition to looking at it from the job perspective, is to get involved in the different processes that are going on. So for example, in Thailand, the Bank of Thailand is working on its sustainable finance roadmap, which is something that multilateral organizations such as IFC and others have been supporting here in Thailand. And they're also in the process of developing the green taxonomy. So that's a way that perhaps the voice of the youth can come in and also bring in a stronger climate-related lens, because that taxonomy will be a defining point as to what Thailand identifies as green in terms of green financing. So it would be really great, if there's opportunities for you and others to get involved in helping to shape that.
If I may just add one more point, is to also not underestimate the value of networks. And the importance of connecting to peers and others within the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So to extend your net wide, or for entrepreneurs who are seeking access to finance in the green sector.
Thank you very much. I believe we have one more intervention from the Philippines.
Hello, my name is Natanala Sukparipat. I am a shadow of the Philippines Embassy, and my question is, are there any financial solutions which could be done in the gender paying gap problem often found in the medical field.
Financial solutions addressing gender pay gap in the medical field.
The gender pain gap.
Gender, yes. In the medical, specifically medical field. These are very big questions.
Yeah, that's a big question, and I know it took me a second to think as well. But as a young professional, right, who has been actively job searching, and not right now, but I've been on the side where I've been looking for jobs, and one thing that I've realized from my job searching experience is that there is no transparency on what the salaries are, right? Like, you're expected to negotiate salaries, and usually when you're applying to jobs, they ask you for your expectations, and there is not information out there on what the industry standard is, right? So transparency on what the salaries are connected to different fields of study, connected to the different fields of study and industry as well. I think that is very important. Investments and policies need to be designed so that there is transparency around that, because once we have that information, then we can take action to change the situation, right? But the information gap that persists right now, I think, is the biggest barrier for paying gap. Anyone else?
And if I may just to add to Sanjana's comments, from a private sector perspective, also in looking at the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies within companies, to understand that they put addressing the gender pay gap at the top of their agenda. And we often, as we look at investing in small businesses, but through our funds and through our nonprofit partners, in our diligence process, we look at their DEI initiatives and their policies and procedures to ensure that there is equity throughout.
Okay, thank you very much for your responses. Last one.
Hello. So I am a third-year student from Thammasat University, and I would like to ask you, how important is the green economy in the context of social enterprises and the local community's economy? Thank you.
Can we ask you to repeat that one more time, please? We were expecting from Colombia here. One more time, please.
Okay. How important is the green economy in the context of social enterprises and the local community's economy?
How important is green jobs?
That's such an important question, especially as we think about it in the context of women. Climate-related disasters are disproportionately impacting women in underserved communities globally. So as we look at supporting, from an impact perspective, green businesses, whether it's green businesses in urban areas, whether it's focused on ag tech solutions, it is critically important to communities at all levels, but especially underserved communities that involve women. So it's a very critical part, at least from the foundation and Visa's perspective, to what we do and how we invest in our efforts.
I'd like to add briefly to that as well, right? Green economy investments are being channelized to green economy, which means that employment opportunities will be generated, right? And that is critical to addressing the youth unemployment and issues like poverty among youths as well. Like I mentioned earlier, because of limited opportunities right now, there are millions of youths for whom the jobs right now are dirty, difficult, dangerous. And I think the investments in the green economy will help transform their jobs to global, green, gender equal, and it also raise the standard of living for them and provide financial security. Because right now, youths are working, but they're still having difficulties to pay for their living expenses because the wages are less. So as green economy is being transitioned, I think it's very critical that youths have access to green jobs and green skills so that we can address bigger issues such as youth unemployment and poverty.
Thank you very much. One final question, please, from Colombia.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Blaplam. I'm a shadow of Embassy of the Republic of Colombia. This is, actually, I have one of the statements that I want to share with everyone. Actually, the dream of mine is being an air hostess in Thailand, but many people say that it's difficult for me to be a flight attendant. But I want to say that nobody should be limited their abilities just because of their genders. And please always remember, please always remember, no matter which gender categories we belong to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful, powerful statement to end on. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Excellencies, this marks the conclusion of the Asia Pacific Regional Commemoration of International Women's Day 2024 under the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Thank you very much to all our esteemed panelists again, to all of our participants, both in person and online, for joining us for this event. As the Finnish ambassador mentioned, it is now our pleasure to invite all of our on-site participants for refreshments, as well as to visit the photography exhibit just outside of this conference room. And just after the lunch hour at 1 p.m., you are cordially invited to join the workshop on empowering young women and girls with green skills and careers. The boot camp is a collaboration between UN-Women, UNICEF, ESCAP, UNDP, ILO, UNEP, and LinkedIn to offer insights and skill development for aspiring youth to champion gender equality in the green careers. The workshop will take place in Conference Room 3. Many thanks once again, and our warm wishes for an incredible, happy International Women's Day.
We have found a credit card, a Visa credit card of Sophia Mias. Sophia Mias, please come and take it. Please come see me, Sophia Mias.
In Tangier, she takes a breath, lifts up her voice. In Lahore, La Paz, Kampala, though she's half